Let's get started and talk about the stock market. These are the S&P 500 futures, which we're always tracking. Very important. Looking at the weekly chart, the daily chart, the trade of the day. I want you to stick around because I'm going to talk about some additional information today on the intraday charts. And I posed a question to my members and said, how can we tell that today was a weak market? And I don't just mean intraday, I mean the whole day. Basically futures trade 23 hours a day. So how could we tell it was weak? And I said to them, I posed a question, and I'm not looking at price. Okay, so we're going to talk about that because it's really important to understand how to know the trend in the market, right? Because it's been very bullish for quite a while, right? Wait, 2-3 weeks, whatever it's been, longer. It's been very, very bullish, right? I mean, longer than that. Look at this bullish run. Crazy. Longer than 2-3 weeks. Like 2 months, sorry. Going on for a long time, right? October, November, December, maybe 2 or 3 months, are very bullish. Okay. So everybody's thinking bull, 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 they're running bull, they're running bull. So a lot of people have a hard time making an adjustment when the market behavior changes. So we're going to talk about that, okay? All right, let's take a look at the weekly chart here. So before the New Year's break, I talked about how often we see things come in groups of 3 in the weekly chart. We can see it right here, group of 3. We see it back here, group of 3. This was really 5, but it was broken up by a green candlestick. Here's a group of 3, right? Because this one really just was the bottom. Okay, you see a group of 3 over here, right? Very, very common to see a group of 3 when you're talking about pullbacks. Okay, track sideways. This was really 2, so this was more like, even though you got 5 red candlesticks, really the 3 is right here. This is really, or it could be even on that one. We could look at these 3 candlesticks right here. Okay, I think you get the point. 3 is very common. So why am I mentioning that? Because look at this right here. What I think we're going to see is probably, and we have divergence showing up now on both the Big Daddy down here, my own indicator, as well as the Stochastic Momentum Index on the weekly chart. We're seeing a red candlestick. I think we're going to get 2 to 3 weeks of pullback. That's probably what's going to happen here. Now it could be really weak, and it could do this. It could be very just like doesn't do anything. Right? It could just be really soft. Okay, but the odds are pretty decent. We'll get 2 to 3 weeks with a pullback here. Now I said weeks, not days, so keep that in mind. Got a sad face going on here. Oh, anytime we get the sad face, watch out. The sad faces. Okay, anytime you see the sad faces, yeah, that means down. Okay, let's take a look at the daily chart. Now, before I talk about the daily chart here, just want to interject that on New Year's Eve, we had a massive Class X5 solar flare. This is a very huge solar flare. Not talking about some little dinky solar flare. These are very, very large, very dangerous solar flare. And of course, that hitting the Earth, some of it hit the Earth. We'll get more fallout from this coming in the next few days. The very next day, Japan had a 7.5 earthquake. But call me crazy. Go ahead, call me crazy that there's a correlation between plasma coming from not just our sun, but also from other parts of the universe and the galaxy that impact our solar system and the Earth. And then we get things like volcanoes and earthquakes. Yeah, it's just purely coincidental that it's Class X5 solar flare erupted, and the next day Japan had a massive earthquake. That's purely coincidental, folks. Right. And as I look at the news and some of the articles, it's amazing to me that how far they go sometimes, I think, to actually conceal this type of stuff. No mention, no correlation between the two. It's intentional, man. Just these people are just. Anyway, so it's a topic for a different day. And I think briefly mentioned on the Discord server for the members, this is going to impact the market. Well, when we look at this candlestick today, which was a range of 62, and pretty much most of it was down. Okay, pretty much most of that was down. Now, of course, we have timing here for the cycle low to come out here in the first and second week of January. You know, this cycle could be a little early. That's why I've got this January 8th one going on. Because I noticed that these green cycles, sometimes we get the green cycle to hit, sometimes we get the the purple cycle to hit. Okay, so I would not be surprised, you know, that we either get we could get a deeper pullback than was expected, or it could just be early. Because if it's going to be January 16th, you know, and if this has already started, that's a big if, but it looks like it has to me. Starting to get crossover here. Plus the weekly chart kind of also confirms this. And if it goes all the way out to January 16th, oh, this could go deeper than we thought. Okay, but we'll let the market tell us what that's going to be. So just want to mention the first support that we're going to run into is 47.43 right here. It's the base of these two candlesticks. I think we're going to get there. We'll probably get there. Below that is 46.52. So these are the two immediate supports we're going to be looking at, okay? The 47.43 would be about 100 points from the all-time high. So I think that's, not going to say it's 100% certain it's going to happen, but I think it will happen. Okay, I think we're going to see more decline here. And we might even get between down into here, into these areas and hit 46.52. We'll see how it goes. Okay, I wouldn't be surprised if it gets down over here, which looks like it's about, I don't know where this is at, the bottom of this candlestick. This is 45.85, which would be about over 200 points from where we're at right now. Okay, and about whatever it is, 50 from all-time high-ish, somewhere in that area. Okay, I don't have that drawn in, but just keep that in mind. All right. So more decline, I think, is going to happen as we get into these first and second week of January, okay? And those are your support. Let's take a look at the trade of the day. Actually, let's look at a trade that I did, okay? And then we'll talk about the trade of the day, and then we'll finish up with some important stuff that I mentioned earlier in the video. Okay, there you go, $3,225 overnight in the green. So that's really nice. This happened last night. When I saw the X5 solar flare, then followed up by the Japanese earthquake, I'm like, yeah, the market's going to pull back. So there you go, folks. I mean, just understanding rhythms, understanding cycles, understanding that without getting too weird and mysterious, understanding cyclicality and the way the energy flows is really important. So anyways, all that translated into a pretty big PL overnight at 3,225. Yeah. Nice, big, huge day. Okay, let's move on to the, this was my personal trade of the day, okay? I did that last night, closed it this morning about 6:30. But let's take a look at the trade of the day on the intraday charts. Okay, so here we are on the 5-minute chart, and really, I talked about, just showed my $3,200 PL overnight trade, and let's talk about the setup here. So this is on the 5-minute chart, and you can see there's a Get Us Plus indicator that came up here about 3:40 a.m. overnight. This is futures. They're trading 23 hours a day, right? So this trade's pretty simple to do. At the time this came in, you can see the MACD is just below the zero line, so momentum's going negative. Now I'm not going to take a negative short side trade at this moment. I want to see what does the kind of fast moving indicator show me. You can see the price kind of droop down. Okay, it was about right here. It drooped down a little more, but then it rebounded just a little bit. Okay, which reflective right here. Curled over, take the trade. Right there, these first 2 candlesticks. So in the first 10 minutes, 15 minutes, take the trade. Okay? Take the trade all the way down. I think I got out somewhere right in here. Okay? Somewhere in this area I got out. Okay? And that's it. I traded 2 E micros, and there's your numbers. We'll take a look at the 15-minute chart real quick, and then we'll talk about the rest of the video and how we knew today was a weak day and a change in behavior in the market. Let's look at the 15-minute here, because there was a trade down here too. It's a little late, but it's okay. It still works. Okay, so this is the 15-minute chart now. You could also do this trade for those that were, I don't know, maybe you were up at 4:30 a.m. my time here in Texas. Okay, right there, 4:30 a.m. We get this Get Us Plus alert. It's right on this green candlestick. Okay. Now this one's a little bit, this is where you have to understand multiple time frames. You have to understand the 5-minute, 15-minute, and 1 hour. But really, on the 15-minute chart, this trade's a little bit trickier if you're just looking at only this chart. And that's why I always advocate looking at multiple charts. Because in this chart, you want to see that the Get Us Plus indicator is saying there might be a trade here, and then you look at the 5-minute chart at the same time, and you watch the oscillation in the 5-minute chart. Okay, and you wait for the 5-minute chart to do the old bouncy bounce. And when let's just say on the 5-minute chart, which I don't have it up right now, but the 5-minute chart probably bounced like this, let's say, and then started coming down, and that's when you would enter this trade, which is probably somewhere over here. Okay, one of these, probably this first candlestick right here. Can almost guarantee it. We can go back and look at it, as a matter of fact. But the reason why I say this trade is a little bit harder if you're only looking at the 15-minute charts, because you can see that the MACD is already negative and this is bottomed out. So if you're waiting for it to come up before they make the trade, you're never going to get into the trade, because look, it just went down, just kept going down. Okay. And I think a lot of traders struggle with this. They're just looking at one chart and they never get in the trade because they're waiting for a rebound. That's why you have to know how to change your mindset and look at multiple time frames. Let's go back and look at, when was this? This was about 4:30 a.m. Let's go back to the 5-minute chart. Let's see if I'm right. 4:30 a.m. Yeah, I gotta go back here. Yeah, there it is. See, what did I tell you? Here's 4:30. Okay. What did it do? It bounced up, just like I said. There it is. There's your bounce. You wait for the SMI to roll over, then you take that trade in the 15-minute chart. So I hope that makes it really clear. This example I just talked about right here, this should make it really clear how you use multiple charts, multiple time frames to enter the trade. You don't just look at the 1 hour, the 15-minute, or the daily, or the 5-minute and say, oh, I'm going to do retracements. I'm not hacking and making fun of retracements or saying they're a bad idea. If you want to use retracements, that's fine. Go for it. That's okay. Okay. But, that's kind of only using some of the tools in the toolbox. Okay. You may not get the biggest movements just looking at retracements. Okay. This right here, what I just showed you, would have made you huge money, because it made me huge money. We just saw the trade. Now, I know not everybody's trading E-minis, or I'm traded 2 E-minis last night. Maybe some people have smaller accounts, but regardless, whatever you're trading doesn't make a difference. There was still money to be made. And this trade, and the way I just showed you, probably make you a lot of money. Okay. Or at least give you a better chance of making profitability, put it that way. Okay, now let's get back to the very beginning of the video where I talked about how do we know today was a weekday, the whole day. Let's talk about that for a second, because this is really important, and we'll close up the video. Okay, in front of us is 3 charts, and it's a little bit smaller than what you would see in the streaming charts, but it should make the point. You got the 5-minute chart on the far left, 15-minute chart in the middle, and the 1 hour chart on the far right. So these are the 3 streaming charts that the members get to see. I don't have the Get Us Plus indicator on here right now because we're going to talk about something a little bit different. So the question was, how do we know that this entire day, the entire session, right? Not just intraday, but the whole day. This is the entire day here on this chart. This is the entire day here on this chart, and this is the entire day in this chart. I try to stretch it out as much as possible. Okay, how do we know that this day was weak? And I'm not looking at price. I'm not looking at the candlesticks necessarily, okay? How do we know that? Because a lot of people struggle with this. They literally struggle with, well, how do I know what direction to trade in? Okay, let's just look at the SMI, the MACD for each of these, okay? And we're going to number them. We're going to give these a number. Each of these, we're talking about this, and this. These 6 boxes. They can either have a 1 in it or a 0. We're going to grade them, okay? If it's bullish, it gets a 1. If it's bearish, it gets a 0. So here's the entire day, right? This is from last night when it opened up to right there. Let's look at the SMI for the hourly. This is the hourly chart. At any time, was this thing above the top line? No, it wasn't. It never got above it. It touched it right here, but it never got above it. And from about 5 or 6 a.m. in the morning, it was actually below it for quite a while, especially throughout the intraday. It was really below it here, right? Okay, so we're going to put a 0 here. Just put a 0. Now here's the MACD. This purple line right here is the 0 line. See the 0? Purple line? The MACD is below the 0 line. So at any point, was it in positive territory? This is momentum. No, it was never positive. Not the entire 24-hour period or 23-hour period. That gets a 0. Let's go over here. Was this above the top line for the SMI? Yeah, it was for a little while back here, just when it opened up. And then right here, I think this was about 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning. For the rest of the time, except for the very end of the day, everything else has been below. So would we say that it was above this line or below this line for most of the day? We'd say it's below, right? It had 3 peaks, but it was below. We'll give it a 0. It wasn't sitting up here tacking on the line, right? Okay, what about the MACD? Except for the very beginning of the session, then all the rest of the day, and just now it's trying to barely get above it. It was below the 0 line, the purple line, below it. Okay, that's a 0. Yeah, I tell you what, and just to be completely fair, some people may say, well, you shouldn't give that a 0 here. Okay, fine, I'll tell you what, we'll give this a 1. Give this one a 1. These clearly were below the lines, right? But this one we'll say, because it tacked above it a few times, we'll give it a 1. Now, what about, that's the 15-minute chart. So hourly, 15-minute, now we're on the 5-minute. Was the SMI above the top line? Yeah, it was above the top line a lot, bouncing around. We'll give that a 1. What about the momentum? Was it above it, the 0 line? Yeah, it was above it quite a bit back here, kind of in the middle of the day, mid-morning, and then the end of the day. So we'll give that a 1. Okay, so let's count them all up. The total we can get is 6, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what's our number? 1, 2, 3, and then all zeros. So I'm just going to use this area over here because it's easy. We got a 3 out of 6. Everybody knows what that is. 50%. Now, everybody remembers taking exams and tests in school. Most of us hated them, right? Was 50% ever a passing grade? Ever. No. 50% is not a passing grade. It's not even close. We don't trade on, this would be a coin flip, basically. We don't trade on a coin flip, right? In other words, we're not going to trade bullish when it's 50%. Okay? If we went through this and let's say the score was 4 out of 6 or 5 out of 6, okay, great. Now it's got a bullish configuration and we can start thinking about how do we set up a plan and how do we determine our entry. Okay, I'm not going to cover that right now. I'm just trying to give you an understanding of how you can easily determine the strength of the market. Okay, I hope that helps because this is super simple. Okay, the other thing that should have helped you throughout the day was let's go to the hourly chart. The 50, this blue line is the 50 hour and the green line is the 24 hour. I don't use 20, I use 24. Well, look at the price. Look at the candlesticks. All of them are below the 50. They never got above it for the 50 hour. Only except for 2 candlesticks that get above the 24 hour. So, you got 2 out of what? 20. So 21 out of 23 candlesticks, because this trades 23 hours out of the day. 21 out of 23 candlesticks were below the 24-hour moving average. Okay, everything is telling you this is bearish. You got no business trading long in this scenario. Okay, so pause the video, rewind it. I don't care if you got to write it down. Look at the streaming charts. I'm not saying it's a foolproof way to look at the market, It's just to help you get how you can use a simple grading system to help for you to determine what the strength or weakness in the market, okay? Okay. All right, so you've been around and hung around, I should say, this long. You want to become a member, that's great. There's a link in the description right below this video. Just make sure you read the instructions very carefully so you don't have any problems joining. Once you click on that link, you're going to come to get a server. You can click on server shop and you get this page right here, $7.99, guys. I mean, I do this at the end of every video for those that want to become members. You know, it just amazes me that very few people want to become members. They won't pay the $7.99. I'm not going to call people cheap, but it just amazes me how many people don't take the $7.99 membership. They could potentially make a ton of money. If you're just patient, the service will help you make a lot of money, most likely. Okay, I'm not saying it's going to do it automatically because that has a lot to do with you, your account size, your maturity, your patience, all that comes into play. Okay, but yeah, this is for most of the members. This is just coin. $7.99 is like, you know, people are making a lot of money with the service. $7.99 is extremely cheap. Let's talk about what comes with the membership. Down here is the streaming charts that I just showed you. Okay. The Get Us Plus indicator, the trade of the day, all that. All those streaming charts, 5, 15 minute, and 1 hour are here. Okay, so when you join, you click on this, you get into the streaming charts. All right. If you want the nightly email, put your email address in the emails only channel, and you get the nightly email. And what you get is an attachment of the S&P 500 chart and a few sentences of my opinion about what I think the market's going to be doing. Okay. And I wanted to mention when the streaming chart with the Get Us Plus indicator, if it indicates there might be a trade, it sends an alert over to this channel. And then you can just right click on this channel and turn notifications on. You'll be notified of a potential trade, right? Okay, so that's really cool because you have streaming charts that are in sync with sending an alert in this channel. We also have alerts for these as well. Now there's no streaming charts for these, but you still get alerts. Gold alerts, crude oil, top 30 stocks of the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ. And then if any of these stocks in here have a daily chart that gets an alert, then it'll go into this channel. That's for people who maybe want to do swing trades, okay? Premium symbols, every day I put in anywhere from 2 to 4 files of symbols in here. This includes future symbols, optionable stocks, industries that might show up, and any symbols that look like they might be getting ready to be shorted. That's in there. Really nice channel. I still use that from time to time for the futures trading. Occasionally I trade currency, mostly currency futures. If I do, I'll put something in there. For you guys and gals that trade Forex, well, the currency futures, you know, actually can give you a really good heads up of what the Forex may do, okay? Of course, we just talked about that X5, the X5 solar flare. I put that in this channel. I think it was on New Year's night or something like that. New Year's Eve night. Okay. And that's how I knew the market was probably going to make a big move. That's why you saw a $3,200 green PL. Okay. For my trade of the day. All right. So really important. This channel is instrumental in helping to, you know, help forecast is what I really want to say what the market may be doing. Sometimes it's extremely accurate, other times it's a little bit nebulous, but it always contributes and always helps in my opinion about the market. Okay. Fixed income, I trade a lot of corporate bonds. And with today's inflation, there's also savings account in there, CD rates in there from time to time. So that's a good channel to look at. If I'm going to trade a corporate bond, I'll put it in there. Okay, this is just general chat here. These two channels right here, S&P 500 and the member chat. If you have a support issue, put it in this channel right here if you're a member. If you have a support issue specifically to emails, you can just drop it in the emails only channel, but all their support, put it in here, okay? This channel, the general channel, is the only channel that's not member. Anybody can go in there, but it's just basically, hi, how are you? Welcome to the server. There's no services in there. So for the membership, you get all these channels are members only channels. Okay. And lastly, I want to say, please read the rules. Okay. I don't want anybody saying they didn't know about this or that. Read the rules. The rules in there, the refund rules are in there. The please play nice with everybody else on the server. Otherwise I got to kick you, and don't make me to be out to be the bad guy. But I will kick you if you start being disrespectful, posting nasty stuff. I won't tolerate it. So please read the rules. Be nice on the server. Okay, and lastly, in there is a disclaimer that I'm not a financial advisor. I don't give advice. I only give opinion. Okay, so please read the rules. All right, that's it. Kind of a long video, but I wanted to share it because I think we're going to see, we're probably just seeing the beginning of a behavior change, I think, in the market for the next maybe 2 to 3 weeks. Somewhere in that area is my estimation. All right, happy trading, everybody. Happy New Year, everybody. God bless everybody. We'll talk to you all real soon again next time.